13 ways to improve sleep quality.
13 ways. That's a lot of ways that you can improve sleep. So first of all, if you're going to listen to this entire list and you're trying to improve your sleep, you can like scratch off the things you're already doing and just pick a few new ones to try to improve your sleep. You don't have to do all of these at the same time. It's going to be a little overwhelming.
So if one great way to tell is to have some kind of a tool. There are so many gadgets on the market. There's apps that'll help track your sleep based on the movement of your mattress if you just want something on your phone. There's an Oura Ring, which is something Jeremy and I both wear. The Apple Watch has sleep tracking in it now, right? There's just so many different ways to get an idea about your sleep. And there's different sleep stages that we go through at night. So there's light sleep, there's REM sleep, and there's deep sleep. And usually when people say, I wake up and I don't feel rested, that can often be a lack of deep sleep. That's what I personally struggle with. So this topic on sleep is near and dear to my heart. I've been working on my sleep since I got my Oura Ring for Christmas last year. So I've come a long way and I've learned a lot of lessons, but it's a topic we're continuing to research, which is why we have 13 tips for you. So I think that there's going to be something new here for everyone.
All right, so the first one is exercising daily. And I say daily because I really mean daily. You know, there's some old wisdom that says that you should take a couple days off, and we're really kind of coming around to this idea of exercising daily being a really good thing for us because we're designed to move. We're designed to be active as a species. So it's okay to be active daily, and that can help you just get exhausted, get to that feeling where you're just, out of energy, you feel like you've accomplished something during the day and you're ready to go to sleep. So that's tip number one.
Yeah, so this can be a 20 or 30-minute walk or a bike ride. If you can get outdoors, that's a really good thing because so many of us are deficient in vitamin D, especially now that we're not necessarily going out as much as we used to be. So if you can get at least half of that exercise outdoors, that's a really great thing. That's something that Jeremy's been really good at, is getting outside and running. I am blessed, right, with allergies that are kind of at a high right now, so I've been doing more indoors, but trying to get out early in the morning before some of those allergens become more prevalent can be something you can do.
And we always recommend that you try and keep your exercise activities or anything that's going to get your heart rate and your cortisol levels up, back that off about 3 hours from the time that you want to go to bed, right? Being the latest you work out. Ideally, you work out early in the morning or sometime before lunch.
Yeah, so the second kind of goes hand in hand with this outdoor topic is get grounded. So the free way to get grounded is to go outside in your bare feet. You can walk around, you can sit with just your feet on the grass, maybe you throw a beach towel down and just connect with the earth, with your bare hands, your bare feet. Some people like to do outdoor yoga just on the grass. So those are some different ways you can get grounding. But if you can't get outside, so many of us in the United States are heading into winter, so what Jeremy and I have is we have an earthing mat on our beds.
Right, so this just is literally plugged into a grounded socket in our house, and that grounded socket goes out to earth, and that puts that grounded mat at earth potential, right? So we are grounded to the outside earth by that. And so think about the times that you've been to maybe the ocean or to the mountains or some place where you just felt like this charge, right? Because there's actually more positive ions and more grounding in those locations, and it can feel different, right? So that's one of the ways you can kind of tell when you're grounded is by noticing that sensation that you might have had in certain places.
I'm going to insert a bonus tip here, so it actually ends up being 14, and that is pay attention to EMF. So EMF is
electromagnetic fields, right?
Right. So we were in Iowa, and we had the Draco come through, and I probably said that wrong. That's okay. We had the Draco go through, 100-mile-an-hour winds. It pushed our power. No, all of a sudden it was boom, no power, no internet, we had no cell signal at our house, and we live in the middle of a large city in Iowa, and the largest metropolitan area in Iowa. And I thought to myself after I reacted to the storm, got the kids in the basement, I sat down, and a few minutes later, I noticed my body just it felt very strange, like I was just, all of a sudden I was being grounded. I could just feel my body calm. And the last time I felt that was when we got a Blue Shield. And so this is a square EMF blocking device. And it was recommended to us by our naturopath who's in Australia. And we got it and we plugged it in, and I felt the same feeling in my body, and almost a squirrely grounding feeling as the EMF was cut. So the EMF keeps us at a higher frequency throughout the day.
Well, so that's not a blocking device. It's actually puts out its own frequency that is a natural frequency for our bodies to be at. So it's counteracting the
I guess
EMF,
I just
right?
think of it as a shield.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to think about
it.
it. But it's actually sending out a signal that's designed to like counterbalance the EMF in our lives. But yeah, like, so I fell asleep on the couch so quick that I couldn't believe it when the storm came through and we lost power and there was no cell phones or anything.
In the middle of a conversation, he fell asleep.
So there's got to be something to it.
Right. So EMF comes from our electrical, like our power grid, from Wi-Fi, right? Every house, business has Wi-Fi that they're putting out. The more Wi-Fi devices you have in your home, computers. So one thing you can also do is not sleep with your phone in the room. So make sure your phone is not in the same room as you. So there's our bonus tip.
So red light therapy. So if you are somebody who is interested in red light therapy, we use a Juve, which is a brand that is we believe in because it has powerful enough LEDs or lights to give you a dose of red light that is strong enough to make a difference, right? So they have everything from a travel size that I think runs
about that big,
up to stuff where it's like it could occupy an entire room, right? So there's all levels for this red light therapy. You can also do it in like a sauna, like an infrared sauna. You can get some red light. But if it's something, this is kind of like one of those next level tips if you're really looking to go to the next.
So red light stimulates natural melatonin production.
It does. And it's been shown to, there's tons of studies now, been shown to reduce inflammation, to improve skin quality, to just a lot of things. And you can go online to Juve. They actually will link back to those studies on their website.
Yeah, and if you not sure how to spell that, just go to our website, wholebodyliving.com, and if you click anywhere but on the homepage, at the bottom there'll be a bar that says Juve. That you'll be able to link through and find that. And that is an affiliate link for those of you interested. So the next one is to block or eliminate blue light at least 3 hours before bedtime. You want to hand me my glasses there? So there's a couple, different places. So number one, what's blue light? So almost all of our light bulbs that we have, so we have extra light turned on right now, the sun, but especially if you go into think about the Hy-Vee, if you're local, the most brightly lit grocery store or Walmart has huge blue light frequencies, right? Because they want you to be awake, they want you to be alert, and they want you to shop. So blue light, think about that if you're going to go shopping in the evening, think about your exposure to blue light. And basically blue light just stimulates you to stay awake, and it can reduce your natural melatonin production. And melatonin is really important for you to get into a natural sleep rhythm. So there's some ways to do it. So I have invested in, you can kind of see a blue or purple tint. These are dark blue light blocking glasses. So those of you who are members see me wear my silly dark glasses because we do membership calls at 7 p.m. here and we have our lights on. And that tends to prevent me from getting a good night's sleep when I don't wear these glasses. So other ways you can do it is on your phone, what's it called? Nightlight.
Yeah.
On Android or iPhone, iPad, your computer, all have a way to reduce blue light blocking. And I do recommend you turn that up so that your screen looks amber, right? So your color is off. And just be okay with that because it's going to help you sleep better. And then dim the lights in the house. So think about just 1,000 years ago, when it got dark, they pretty much went to bed or they were sitting around by candlelight. And so if you're wondering, well, how much light does a candle put out? Try lighting one. Like, we live in such bright environments. So for fun, you could hang out in the candlelight at night, or you could just have a dim light. So those are one tip is to get red light bulbs and have just a lamp that you use in the evening with just a red light bulb in it. So you kind of naturally dim the environment.
So another tip is a binaural beats application on your phone. So this would require you to wear some headphones at night, but this is where it plays tones, and you're more familiar with this than I am, but it plays tones on both sides of your head at certain frequencies.
Yeah. So delta waves help with deep sleep. So those are like 0.1 to 4 hertz, and then theta waves for REM sleep are 4 to 8 hertz. So I like to do the delta waves because I struggle with deep sleep. So check that out. I'm going to link an article here from Psychology Today that talks more about binaural beats so that this segment doesn't end up being like 30 or 40 minutes long itself. We are covering a lot of information.
So I've been telling Tara about this. I kickstarted a device called the Modius, and this is something you wear on your head, and it has patches that you attach to your neck, and it stimulates your brain in a certain location, and it works on these theta and delta waves.
So we will be talking about that technology soon when we get that and try it out for ourselves.
So a guided meditation or a sleep app before bed, like these are those types of apps where they take you through some imagery, so guided imagery. And it's usually very positive, very calming. We have one we like that the most is Relax and Sleep Well, is the name of the application. And there's just so many different types of them that you can listen to.
Yeah, there's tons of apps out there. I know Headspace is another app that a lot of people like. And even here on YouTube, there are so many videos, both binaural beats and with guided meditations. I mean, you can get something completely for free instead of using a paid app as well. So the next tip is if you are laying down at night and your mind is racing, you know you're stressed out, think about how that's impacting your body. So that means your cortisol level is high. If your cortisol level is high, that's bad when you go to sleep. You want to bring that cortisol level down. So one way to do, and something that I am going to be doing this week, so this is the one I'm actually going to be applying this week because I have been struggling with this, is to grab one of my inspirational journals here. These are on our site at sustainableketo.com, and I'm going to just be journaling. So what does this look like? You sit down, you don't judge it, you set a timer for 5 minutes, and you just write. You write everything that comes to mind. If it's a to-do list, if it's oh shoot, I don't want to forget that tomorrow, it goes down on the piece of paper. For the to-do list items, I'll star those so that in the morning I can quickly find what I didn't want to forget. And then I do an imagery. So I take this a step further. This is something my therapist taught me. And I have a box. I picture this specific container in my mind. I actually just rebuilt the box to be stronger, right? And I take all my worries and all my stress and I put it in the box and I put the lid on. If it doesn't work the first time, I continue to repeat that. And then I end with a prayer. And that helps bring my cortisol levels down so that I can fall asleep. And I actually follow the same thing minus the journaling. If I wake up, the past couple weeks, I've been waking up at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. before I want to be awake. I do the same thing with the guided imagery.
I just sleep. Sorry.
And prayer. We should have numbered these.
Yeah. So avoid eating within 3 hours of bedtime. And this is probably one of our, it's down the list as we're reading these, but it's probably one of our bigger tips, like more impactful tips, right? So you don't want your body spending a whole lot of effort and energy doing digestive tasks when it should be preparing for bedtime. Now, we're going to say something later on in another tip that's going to sound a little bit contrary to this, but there's good reason for it. So avoid your big meals within 3 hours of going to bed, even 4 hours if you can.
Yeah, so that was an experiment that I started a few weeks ago, and it did work, but I learned something that we're going to be sharing here in a moment. And that is that you can also, so if you are fasting, so what I was doing was having my last meal as lunch and maybe having a small snack around 4. So what was happening is I was waking up earlier than I was. And I remembered a Low Carb USA we attended, and I believe it was Dr. Siwaz, that talked about how if that's happening to you routinely, that could actually be an episode of hypoglycemia. Now, we're going to be getting continuous insulin monitors, so look for more on that topic coming soon. Glucose monitors. So look for more on that topic coming in October, November timeframe. We're not sure exactly when we're going to get them, but look for an announcement about that. Yeah. And we're going to be playing around with things like that, and because sleep is just so critical.
Yeah, so this small fat snack at bedtime, not a whole lot, not something that is going to require a lot of digestion, but can be enough to kind of even out your blood glucose levels throughout the night so you don't dip down into a hypoglycemic state, which can happen to some people. And it usually, at its most calmest thing, right, it just wakes you up. But a really bad hypoglycemic event can feel like a panic attack, or like you're having a heart attack or something like that, because it's, a shot of adrenaline and, cortisol, and it just really gets you going.
So we have a few more tips to share with you, but I just want to pause a moment and invite you to put your sleep tips in the comments here on the channel, whatever channel you're watching on. So the next thing is supplements. Okay, we have a couple supplements we're going to talk about, and then a few more tips. So I want to talk about essential oils. So essential oils are commonly referred to as the lifeblood of the plant, and they have different frequencies. So we were just talking about binaural beats and frequencies with the thing. So essential oils is something else you can use. So we use Young Living. That's the brand we use and love. So we like to use Valor on the bottom of our feet. People with sleep apnea can sometimes benefit from this as well, or snoring, and then breathe it in. So you have it on your hands for putting it on your feet, and then breathe it in. Or lavender is another really popular essential oil you can find almost anywhere. And then another blend called Peace and Calming that's by Young Living. So those are our 3 favorite essential oils for supporting healthy sleep.
Yeah. So you might also consider CBD or some of the cannabinoid products, right? So CBD is gaining popularity in pretty much everywhere in the country. And if it's legal in your area, you might try something like CBN, right? So CBN is THC as it ages becomes CBN, CBD. And we have found, like when we've been in states where it's legal, that CBN is very effective, and there's no there's no effects like you get with THC.
Right.
So again, we use Young Living has a CBD oil that you can purchase from them. It's high quality and tastes pretty good too.
Yeah. And then valerian root. So valerian root is a non-addictive calming supplement. It actually, fun fact, if you have cats, cats love it. We get a tincture. We really like Gaia herbs. Young Living sells it, but we also use Gaia herbs, and we put a little bit on the floor, and it's a little more intense than catnip, but we have a little bit of cat anxiety going on, so that's how we help calm them down. Also, chamomile tea. If you can find a high quality chamomile tea before bed, Jeremy and I tested that every night for a week, and that worked really well, really especially good for him.
Yeah, that really knocked me out.
Yeah, that really helped with his deep sleep.
So the next one is avoiding alcohol completely. So this might not be something that you're really willing to do, but if you're having sleep problems, you need to give this a shot. You need to abstain from alcohol for a week and see how your sleep changes. This can be really powerful because, and I know you're getting ready to say stuff, but it's because alcohol has effects several days beyond when you had your last drink, right? So you have a drink on Monday, you might still be seeing effects on Wednesday. So you need to give this some time. You need to spend at least a week and then see how it really affects your sleep.
Yeah. So this was something that I didn't believe because I thought alcohol relaxes me. I like to have a glass of wine at night. I don't believe that this could be. But when I got my ring, I started paying attention to how my deep sleep was impacted. If I have just one drink, I'll get like 8 to 12 minutes of deep sleep all night, which is not enough.
Yeah, and it's just like, we want to believe these good things about these products that make us feel good, right? We want to believe that sugar is really not that bad for us, even though we know it is. We want to believe that when it's cold outside, alcohol warms us up, even though it really doesn't. And we want to believe that alcohol makes us sleep better, even though it really doesn't, right? So flip your thinking a little bit and give this a shot. If you're a regular consumer of wine, just think about taking a week off and seeing how that affects your sleep.
So then magnesium. So magnesium can be taken orally. You can do an Epsom salt bath. A shower before bed is actually another great sleep tip. Or you can do a magnesium spray or a topical gel. So most of us are deficient in magnesium. As Denny mentioned, that's something that I talk about often in membership, is making sure you're getting magnesium. So I take magnesium a couple hours before I go to sleep, and then I also put it on topically right before I'm going to go to sleep, because I know that when you're under a high level of stress, like our naturopath says, when you're under a high level of stress, your body's burning through magnesium very rapidly. So for acute symptoms, dose acutely. So sometimes that's every 2 hours with magnesium.
Last one. So sanitize your sleep environment, right? So this includes, I'm very sensitive to all kinds of lights. So I've got black electrical tape over all the little red lights that are in our room. That's everything from on our dimmer switches to our fire, smoke detectors and things like that. It's
like those little lights.
Yeah, they're just, you catch them out of the corner of your eye, and it's just can be enough to wake you up. And then sound, like I like to sleep in a very quiet environment. And also temperature, right? So when we go to sleep, one of the things that helps us get to sleep is when our body temperature lowers. And that's a good marker of quality sleep, is when you can see your body temperature lowering quickly and being steady overnight. So sleeping in a colder environment is a way to get to sleep faster and to sleep deeper. We all know what it's like to sleep under that favorite quilt when it's just cool enough and you're just snugly warm, right? That's the best. That's like the best sleep. Like you just don't want to get out of bed because you're so cozy, but it's because it's a little bit cooler outside, right? So
yeah, so lowering the temperature in your house at night to help you get better sleep. That also is beneficial for your mitochondria health, which is another topic we'll be covering on an upcoming live stream. So one thing I want to mention, if you're struggling with sleep, if you know snoring's a problem, if you're overweight, if this has been a chronic condition for a long time and nothing is helping, please make sure that you see a sleep doctor, because you want to make sure you rule out something like sleep apnea. So once you get that ruled out, these are all great strategies to try, but don't feel overwhelmed. We went so deep on this topic because it keeps coming up, and we want to provide tips for everyone, because when we have a lack of sleep, our reaction time is slower. We have more cravings. Our cortisol levels are higher. There's just a cascade of things that happen in the body when we're lacking sleep. It's just so critical to focus on this one thing.
Right, and some of this even is they're doing research now, finding this ties back directly to some cognitive impairments, even like Alzheimer's, because there is a glymphatic system in the brain, right? And your brain actually shrinks during parts of the evening, and it's kind of like squeezing out the things that don't need to be in there. And when you're not getting enough quality deep sleep, you're not getting enough time where you're squeezing out the stuff that doesn't need to be in your brain, right? So it really is important to get good quality deep sleep. And so things like, consuming alcohol every single night is going to impair that. Things like sleep apnea are going to impair that. People that have sleep apnea have higher rates of Alzheimer's, right? So there's a lot of connection there.